Thanks for joining us. Now, the governing MPP during its 2016 election campaign promised to provide $1 million to each of Ghana's 275 constituencies to help speed up their development. In Odododiodio, residents say that money has taken too long to reach them and they desperately need it to fix dilapidated school structures now. Jojo Kobna has the details in the following excerpts of this week's edition of our citizen-driven series, Nanado.
Every constituency from next year onwards is going to take the equivalent of $1 million to address
the ona ke beginning ke wo ba wo fo ona ke jo afijian mi onu shin wo ke moko ba bo modin e beginning foundation fio ni mini obana ke ba nya tuni si je nu oba wa dum platform mi ma fe ne ke ni anako aka gba one foundation po
mo fe mo ni baba e ba ke wa ke show e ba fe ne ke ending zero e ba fe ne ending zero e ba fe ne ending zero koklo she ba ye 4 years e kan leke bi ame benefit ame nothing she mi money vote na se aba se ko baba le sian ke ba tenopole che aba le sian aba le na aba le ni ale gbe mi money vote wa le ataje me le gbe mi no ko poni ke le gbe.
Dear Nanado.
Away from that, now the full mini documentary, of course, airs on the Joy News channel later today. Now, residents of some communities in Ichima-Kwama district of Ashanti region struggle to access healthcare as the only facility in the area due to bad roads. A bridge linking Apre, where the Catholic Hope Exchange Medical Center is located, to other communities has collapsed, forcing patients to commute on foot to access healthcare. Nana Sensumenta has more in this report.
The 40-year-old bridge which connects Apre to Daokon, Himan and other communities is now a death trap. Besides the collapsed structure, deep gullies on the entire stretch of the road make it almost impassable. Commercial drivers are reluctant to ply the route even during emergency. Chiefs and residents of Apre want swift intervention to avoid preventable death. Nana Obri Kran II is chief of the town.
Abai na mesrewo na so nya kwan sabi abai na ye kwan wo na onimu nkrofo.
Chiefs do not construct roads, so I'm pleading to government for support.
Ebi anana kotena wo no machi ana wo bompa ya ma wo no ama watimi aye aduma no sei ya ha ya kwa yin.
Our roads are very bad. It restricts vehicular movement. Apre is just 5 kilometers away from Kumasi, but we are cut off because of our bad roads.
Management of the health center says the facility is currently underutilized as patients are either reluctant to seek care for minor ailments until their condition gets worse. Others who can afford look elsewhere for medical attention.
Initially, we're having patients coming from these communities because it's the closest and the biggest hospital that anybody who is not well would like to attend. But the condition of the road is such that now people cannot easily come to the facility, and that is also affecting the patronage of the hospital. So it's like the hospital is sited within a community, but the road condition is not also helping people to access it. And I'm sure that you've been onto the road and you see how terrible the road is. Several attempts have been made to get the road be put in shape, but we are where we are now, and we continue our appeal to the government to come to our aid and do something about the road. Because if you have such a facility here and the road condition is that people cannot access the facility, then that will also become another big issue.
Nana Asensu reporting.
Away from that, after 10 years of recording no polio case, Ghana has recorded 3 new cases of the paralysis-causing disease in the northern and Greater Accra regions. The Ghana Health Service says 2 of the cases were found in the environment and 1 in a girl in the northern region. The service says this has necessitated an emergency vaccination of children below 5 years against the viral disease. Director General of the service, Dr. Nsia, has been outlining measures the country is taking to eradicate this. He encouraged all parents and guardians to take their children born between 2016 and 2018 to health centers for free vaccination.
We are here today to launch the various response vaccination campaigns and the first round of all districts in Greater Accra, which starts today, the 11th of September 2019. And this campaign, which is starting today, will end on the 14th of this month. All children under the age of 5 are eligible. We have teams of health workers and volunteers who will move from house to house, school to school, market to market, lorry station to lorry station, churches and mosques to vaccinate all eligible children under the age of 5 years. There will also be fixed posts at health facilities and clinics where we do regular weighing centers and all other designated areas. This campaign will also be done there. We will do round 2, which is scheduled from 25th to 28th of September this year, which will cover all districts in the northern, northeast, Savannah, Upper East, and Greater Accra regions. Then we'll do the round 2, which is scheduled from the 16th to 19th of October this year, and it will cover all districts in the northern region, northeast region, Savannah, and Upper East regions. We have also planned for 2 rounds of nationwide vaccination campaigns using inactivated polio vaccine, also known as IPV, for all children who were born between the ages from January 2016 to June 2018. I wish to indicate that the vaccination is free of charge. So if you want your child not to be disabled, and if you don't want your child to die from poliomyelitis, you have to encourage anybody who is staying in your house with a child below the age of 5 years and all caregivers to send their children for vaccination.
Still live on Joy News today with me, Daniel Dazin, our Chief Executive Officer of the Center for Transformational Leadership in Africa, Samuel Ayim, says the newly introduced school curriculum must emphasize good leadership. Speaking at the media launch of Live to Lead, an international leadership event, Mr. Ayim said it's crucial for leadership skills to be developed in school children. There's more in this report by Nicholas Yamoa.
Mr. Ayim said the nation's development depended on the quality of its leaders. That is why the Center for Transformational Leadership, in partnership with Goldfields Ghana, is organizing the Live to Lead conference, which will focus on the training of a youth in leadership. Chief Executive Officer of the Center, Samuel Ayim, said he is hoping that the new school curriculum would touch on leadership skills for the youth.
So, yes, we've made an approach, but we've seen in the reforms there's some snipers on leadership. We haven't seen the full documentation, so we cannot assess the content, whether it is enough or whatever. But I think they moved away from a system where we are exams-based and just accumulation of information to, competencies and skills is in the right direction, which is what are some of the things we teach and we proposed. So we're hoping that by the time this is fully rolled out, that some of these concepts would find their way there, and over time we can build upon it.
In a country battling corruption on all fronts, Ghana will have a better handle of the problem if it has good leaders, he said.
I know that we don't need more laws. Everything you can mention, we have a law on it. What we need is the will to enforce those laws. And that is what leadership is about. The ability to take the bold step to implement the law and hold people accountable. Until we have a national willingness on all fronts, and it doesn't matter whether the person is in my party or is a government person, wrong is wrong, and it must be treated as such.
Partner of this year's event, Goldfields Ghana, says it is going to take time to train people for leadership roles and hopes they achieve self-discipline among the youth after the event.
As we partner with CTL, we know that people and already 100 students will get an opportunity to be at the program. So they are also going to be educated one way or the other on how to become good leaders and for today and tomorrow. What we hope to achieve is that as an organization, Goldfields, you see, when students come for this program, they learn a lot. So we are hoping that as they learn, they become self-disciplined, and also we'll also be able to work with them so that corporations, not just Goldfields, but other corporations will develop and move on.
This year's event will have leadership expert, motivational speaker and author John C. Maxwell, Nana Nsakwa IV, who is a traditional ruler, and a media personality, and a host of others. The event is slated for 10th October 2019. Nicholas Eko Yamwa's report for Joy News.
Now, the Joy Clean Ghana campaign was this morning obstructed as an assemblyman in Jamestown assaulted a My Joy Online cameraman. This was after public health officials apprehended owners of one household in Jamestown accommodating 25 people and using just one toilet facility. The sanitation team had also seized plantain from a woman who had stored them close to a toilet facility with flies hovering around them. My colleague Nancy MFA Jadosi joins us live with details of what happened. MFA, where exactly were you, and describe what happened this morning?
Right, so Daniel, we were at Jamestown and the exercise was very, fruitful at the beginning. People were cooperating with the AMO officials. We went to several homes, like 4 homes, and they were all complying until we decided to enter one particular house. And in fact, that house, when we entered, we had found a pile of plantain close to a public, a toilet facility and also a washroom. And the woman was selling beans and also, prepared food right at that same place. Then the sanitation officials asked and demanded that the sanitation officers carry the plantain away because it was unsafe for human beings to take it because it had flies also hovering around the food. The woman was begging, but then she was complying. And then just when the team carried the plantain and was taking it into the vehicle, the assemblyman for the area called Zola, we understand it's called Zola, stormed the house and demanded that we put the plantain back and leave his community. There was a bit of, confusion over there because the sanitation officers were commanding and telling him to relax for them to explain the process or the exercise that was being undertaken, but he wouldn't budge. He walked just when Mr. David Andor from myjoyonline.com decided to take his camera and take pictures of, the chaos that was going on. The assemblyman turned and slapped David Andor on the face and then causing his camera to fall on the floor. Then he called off for other guys who also rushed on David and wanted to hit him. But then the entire community came out, the young men in the area, the women, children, all came out in their numbers, hooting and shouting and demanding that the entire team leaves the area. But these individuals would not even mind the fact that we had police officers. The police officers tried to calm the entire community down. They would not listen because the assemblyman had emboldened them and asked them to sack these people out. In fact, let me just say that right when the team decided to move out of the town, the entire community once again started hooting at us and screaming and happy that they supposedly have won this particular battle. But that was not all. We walked to the sub-metro office of the AMA here at Jamestown, and guess who followed us? It was Assemblyman again, Mr. Zola. He followed us to the premises of the sub-metro and then started shouting, demanding and screaming. In fact, his warning and his threat was that he doesn't want to see any AMA official in his town, that is Jamestown. He doesn't want to see any AMA official in the Jamestown because they are in the electioneering year and that our process and our exercise was going to cost him his election. And so for that reason, we are not allowed to carry out that particular sanitation exercise that we're intended to. In fact, let me just add that this Jamestown, very Jamestown, is where the president stood and promised that he wanted to make Accra the cleanest city in Africa. And that was the reason why the Accra mayor, immediately from his assignments, other engagements, decided to come here and come and visit the commander of this Jamestown police station. Now, the process is that the policemen are supposed to go back and effect an arrest on the assemblyman who is called Zola, and then process him for court tomorrow. That's the demand that the AMA official or the AMA mayor has been making here today.
How's David doing now? I see him inside the police station there, and the cameraman zoomed in at a point. How's he faring?
Well, David, when the whole thing started, he was a bit, distraught because he just felt that he was doing his job as a journalist. And then from nowhere, no other person than the assemblyman who is supposed to protect the life of citizens in this country, help enforce the law, demanded and decided to slap him. And that emboldened other community. But David, as of now, is trying he's putting down his statements. He's been to the charge office already. And so he's just assisting the police with investigation so that we have this particular assemblyman arrested and processed for court tomorrow.
So what action has the police taken after this?
Well, let me say that initially we had about 2 to 3 police officers who were with us. They were doing their best. They were trying to calm the situation. They kept on telling the assemblyman to calm down and listen to what the process that was actually being undertaken, or the exercise that was going on, but then he wouldn't budge. So I can say that as another we speak, the commander is just making the final touches to ensure that the police officers go find this particular gentleman, assemblyman as he's called, and bring him to the police station to see that he's being processed for court tomorrow.
Thank you very much, MFA Jadosi, and stay safe out there. It looks like the Joy Clean Ghana campaign is getting a bit dangerous. Let's stay on sanitation because President of the Zongo Council of Chiefs, Moro Babaisa, is appealing to the sanitation minister to assist in the desilting of the main Nima drainage system. Addressing the minister during a tour of the Ayawaso North Municipal Assembly, he bemoaned how the drain continues to paint a bad image of the community and called for logistical support to help keep it and other parts of the community clean. Sanitation and Water Resources Minister Cecilia Dapa, on her part, called for the support of the community to help keep Ghana clean. Maxwell Agbagba joins us live. Maxwell, what has been happening with the sanitation minister's tour of the municipality?
She's been inspecting a lot of the homes here at Mamobi. And what happens is that usually when she gets to a home where there's a drainage system running through the residents, and some of them are actually covered with plants. So she would ask that they remove the planks, and then she would inspect the contents of that drainage system. A lot of them that we found were littered, with plastics and other materials. She demanded that it should be cleaned. She asked that it should be cleaned. And then for some places where we went to, the residents there were not lucky. She instructed the environmental officers of the Ayawaso North Municipal Assembly to issue summons to them, and they're supposed to report at the Ayawaso North Municipal Assembly. At the residents of the Zongo Council of Chiefs, moreover, he called for the silting of the main Nima drainage system. He says that drainage system has become more or less a landmark, like a landmark of the community. And usually when people see that drainage system and its contents, they think or they live with the perception that that is what the entire Mamobi community or the Nima community is made of, filth. So he stressed and he pleaded for logistical support to silt that drainage system. It says the management of that drainage system has gone beyond the assembly because they do not have the capacity to do it. And he wants the help of the minister to enable them, do that. The minister on her part said they are going to provide that needed support, but she also stated that they need the support of the community to keep Ghana clean, to keep the agenda of making Accra one of the cleanest cities in Africa. Thanks.
Maxwell, how were the people responding? Were they receptive to the minister?
They were very receptive. A lot of the homes that we went to were told were previously visited by the Ayaso North Municipal Assembly. That was sometime 2 weeks ago. So when we visited the homes, the MC himself was quite excited about how they are keeping the environment clean, because a lot of them in the previous visits were summoned to the assembly and they were advised. The MC himself was excited that they are heeding, that advice. The minister himself was also excited, and the people were also happy then.
Thank you very much, Mark Solak-Bagbak, for that report. You're live on Joy News today with me, Daniel Daze. Still up ahead, Land and Natural Resources Minister assures he will publish findings of committee probing EIA report, which implicates government officials in illegal rosewood trade. Expect that and more after the break. Thanks for staying with us. Now, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Kweku Asomah-Tweme, has assured that findings of the investigative committee looking into illegal harvesting and smuggling of rosewood will be made public. The ministry set up a committee headed by his deputy, Benito Osobio, to probe the findings by the Environmental Investigative Agency that some government officials and heads of allied agencies are complicit in the smuggling of the highly priced rare species of timber. Joining us on the line is Ernest Kojo-Menu, Joy News reporter. Ernest, what more has the minister been saying?
Well, this issue of rosewood was quite topical at the Midday press today. Just last week, the Deputy Minister Benito Osobio, who is the head of that investigative committee, actually dared the EIA to come out with evidence of their claims that some officials of the Forestry Commission and the Ministry and government officials actually were involved in this. So I asked the question whether or not the EIA will be invited to present their evidence or their findings to the committee as part of their investigation. Unfortunately, that question was not answered. Except to say, the minister said that the committee is currently in the northern region and they are gathering information as part of their investigation today on the issue of rosewood. He also reiterated the point that they have not issued any license to any company or any individual since the ban was placed on the other side of March 5th.
Right. Ernest.
The other issue, yes, go ahead.
Yes, Ernest. Sorry, we would have to end the call at this point. The call quality is a bit bad. Apologies to listeners for that. We'll try and re-establish a good connection with Ernest. Otherwise, we will get those updates from the Minister Kweku Asomah-Tweme. Now, in the meantime, for years, many have expressed sentiments on the growing tensions of politics in the country. Latest to weigh in on the issues is former Executive Director of the Media Foundation for West Africa, Professor Kwame Kakari, who concludes that politics is now more self-seeking than for national interest. He believes such trends affects the efficiency of media practice in the country and also how it is perceived. The professor was speaking exclusively to Joy News.
Politics is now more than ever, not for national development, but for personal aggrandizement. The stakes are very high. Look at how many people want to go into parliament. It's all because of money. It's not because somebody wants to develop this country. And our political parties, as far as I'm concerned, are not there for social change. Our political parties today are more for the enrichment of the majority of people in politics. And for this, people in the different sections of the political divide fight each other to death. And this is what aggravates the atmosphere in the media, as if maybe there's more irresponsible journalism. No, there certainly is some irresponsible journalism today. But I think that there is also a lot of good, reliable, credible journalism in the system.
Prof. Kakari there speaking on the sidelines of the 70th anniversary GJA lecture.